welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel, whichever one it may be. And if you are new here, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, do all those wonderful things, and just let me know what you think. Anyway, in today's video, I had a kind of a little struggle of what I would talk about today, but I think I'm just going to talk about days dedicated to people from the past, or days where we remember and memorialize people. So we are going to go ahead and get into that, and we're going to work on this section right here. There's two on it, but it's really just one section. So we'll go ahead and zoom right in on them. There we go. And I will look up some days. Take that off. All right. Looks like I have to move this one up one. Okay. Fun. Let's see. I need more light. To start. There we go. All right. Hopefully that's not in. There we go. Good. Okay. And a tray. I'm going to use this tray. I do it in my own shop, or I make it in my own shop. So if you are interested in this tray, you can find it in Truvampire art on Etsy. Yeah. So get the first color ladder ready. What the heck is going on with me today? Can't talk. The first color letter, oh my God, the first color ready. Why am I struggling to talk? Jeez. I think it's just tiredness. I'm so tired. My mother is visiting, and I feel like she exhausts me in a way that I'm not normally exhausted, but I am exhausted. All right. Let's see. Let's look at Veterans Day. All right. So, Veterans Day is this year. It's going to be on a Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. This is a United States. Come on. Are you kidding? There we go. A United States federal holiday. So most of us still have to go to work and school on the day. But if you work in the government and stuff, you probably don't have to. I'm not sure on that one, but I don't think so. I think they get more days. They get more days off than the rest of us. All right. So, Veterans Day is always observed on November 11th. And it is for honoring the military veterans of the United States Armed Forces. It coincides with holidays in several countries, including Armistice Day and Remembrance Day, which also occur on the anniversary of the end of World War I. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Learn things every day, right? Major hostilities of World War I were formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, when the armistice with Germany went into effect. At the urging of major U.S. veteran organizations, Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day in 1954. Well, that's good, because I'm not even sure I'm saying that word right. U.S. veteran Joseph Ambrose, 1896 to 1988, attended the dedication parade for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in 1982, wearing his original helmet, Brody helmet, and doughboy uniform. Wow. And holding the flag that covered the casket of his son, Clement, who was killed in the Korean War. So there is a picture of the guy with the flag. All right. Veterans Day is distinct from Memorial Day, a U.S. public holiday in May. Veterans Day commemorates the service of all U.S. veterans, while the older Memorial Day, which grew out of Civil War commemorations, specifically honors those who have died while in military service. Another military holiday that also occurs in May, Armed Forces Day, honors those currently serving in the U.S. military. So we have one for World War I. Yes. And one to honor the armed forces who have passed, and one to honor the armed forces who are still serving. Interesting. So Armed Forces Day, Veterans Day, and Memorial Day. You see the history of Veterans Day. I'm doing U.S. holidays because I live in the U.S., but if you do not live in the U.S., please feel free to talk about any of the holidays or the days that you observe in the comments. And the reasons why. I mean, honestly, I guess I didn't pay enough attention in history because I didn't know why we celebrated Veterans Day. And now I do, and it's definitely a good reason. So on November 11th, 1919, President Woodrow Wilson issued a message to his countrymen on the first Armistice Day in which he expressed what he felt the day meant to Americans. So here we're going to see what he says. What letter are you? What are you? Okay. Not going to get any diamond painting done if I just read. Get some diamond painting done too. All right, so these are days that we specifically honor veterans or the armed forces. And I guess I'll just go ahead and talk about all three. But here is what Woodrow Wilson said. A year ago today, our enemies laid down their arms in accordance with an armistice which rendered them impotent to renew hostilities and gave to the world an assured opportunity to reconstruct its shattered order and to work out in peace a new and more just set of international relations. The soldiers and people of the European allies had fought and endured for more than 4 years to uphold the barrier of civilization against the aggressions of armed force. We ourselves had been in conflict something more than a year and a half. With splendid forgetfulness of mere personal concerns, we remodeled our industries, concentrated our financial resources, increased our agriculture output, and assembled a great army so that at the last our power was a decisive factor in the victory. We were able to bring the vast resources, material, and morale of a great and free people to the assistance of our associates in Europe, who had suffered and sacrificed without limit in the cause for which we fought. Out of this victory, there arose new possibilities of political freedom and economic concert. The war showed us the strength of great nations acting together for high purposes, and the victory of arms foretells the enduring conquests which can be made in peace when nations act justly and in furtherance of common interests of men. To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of nations. So in 1926, Calvin Coolidge issued a proclamation for observance of November 11th with appropriate ceremonies. And in 1945, World War II veteran Raymond Weeks from Birmingham, Alabama, had the idea of a national holiday that would honor all war veterans, living and dead, to be celebrated on Armistice Day. Weeks led to a delegation to General Dwight Eisenhower, who supported the idea of National Veterans Day. Weeks led to the first national celebrations in 1947 in Alabama and annually until his death in 1985. President Reagan honored Weeks at the White House with the Presidential Citizenship Medal in 1982 as the driving force for the national holiday. That's cool. So in 1945, they changed it to Veterans Day, right? Is that what it said up above? 1954, it was renamed Veterans Day. But in 1945, this Raymond Weeks pushed to have it honor all war veterans rather than just World War I. So that's good. So that was Veterans Day. Learned a little bit more about that. Let's go ahead and look at Armed Forces Day next. Because that is also a remembrance of, to honor those who are still serving. So in the United States, Armed Forces Day is celebrated on the third Saturday in May. It falls near the end of Armed Forces Week, which begins on the second Saturday of May and ends on the third Sunday of May, or the fourth if the month begins on a Sunday, as in 2016. Because of their unique training schedules, National Guard and Reserve units may celebrate Armed Forces Day week over any period in the month of May. That's good. I mean, that's nice that they do that for them. It was first observed on May 20th of 1950. The day was created on August 31st, 1949, as President Harry S. Truman led the effort to establish a single holiday for citizens to come together and thank military members of their patriotic service in support of the Republic and national interests of American life. Okay. So that's basically all that is. It's just celebrated in May, and it's for the currently serving members of the militaries. That is nice that we have that day for them. Not really much else to talk about on that day, but that's pretty cool that we have that, and that we honor those people, and that they get to celebrate as well. I wonder what they do for celebrations, though. It didn't really say. It was just kind of a blurb about it. And then when I scrolled up, it had Mexico and other countries as well, and their days for honoring their own armed forces. That's cool. I think I see a cat. I'm gonna go let him in real quick. Did you want to come in? Honey? Did you want to come in? Come on. Thank you. Good boy. All right. Cat's in. Can sit back down, and let's talk about Memorial Day. Oh my goodness. I am so exhausted, man. I've also had a lot going on. I had an interview for a job, so keep it in your thoughts and prayers that I get the job, because I really could use the job. And the interview I thought went really well, so here's hoping and praying that I hear something soon as far as the job, because man, I really could use a job right now. I really could. And yeah, especially since my husband wants to keep the 5 kittens. I don't think it's a good idea. And I did want to keep a couple of the kittens, but quite honestly, I really don't think it's gonna go over well with Rebel to keep any of the kittens, because he beat the crap out of me today. He was so upset. He got my hand here and on my thumb, and I got a couple of scratches from him over here because he was not happy. He wasn't happy with me because I stopped him from going after Cookie because he wasn't happy. I didn't want him attacking Cookie. So I stopped him from attacking Cookie, and he took it out on me. And then he got burritoed into a blanket, and I kind of just held him down. I held his scruff down, and I held him down, and I was like, that's not how you act. But he's not going to understand. I don't know if he'll understand that. That is what a mother cat would do to them. She wouldn't burrito them, but he got stuck under a blanket and burritoed. But she would definitely hold him down, so maybe it'll make him think a little, because I'm, tried to mother cat him, but he's always been a little bit of a struggle, which is weird because he's so great at the vets, but he's a little bit of a struggle. All right, I did want to put some drills down on this canvas. It's been 15 minutes already. I just saw that time on the clock, and I've barely put any drills to canvas. So we'll just talk a little bit about cats. If you're watching this and you live in the South Carolina area, I currently don't have a job, so I can drive places within reason. And you want a kitten or two, I got some really cute ones. All right, let's see. This one is the Q. I'm still working on the picture for my remembrance of my horse, Luna. So that's still this picture. I thought I'd have more of it done, and I probably would have had more of it done, but my mom came to visit, so that kind of messes up what you can and can't do. I can't just sit and work on a diamond painting when she's around. She's always been a bit of a busybody. So with her, it's just kind of a constant go, 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 go. And I think that's why it's so exhausting, because I am not. a go person. I have a good work ethic, and I can work and I can get things done, but I can't keep just going and going and going. Like, I am not the Energizer Bunny. She is. But stuff gets done when she's here, because she just does not stop. Doesn't stop. It's crazy. And then I looked at my brothers and I realized, you know, we're all kind of the same. None of us have that go attitude that my mother has. Like, we're all kind of the same, similar with our house too. I think one brother is less cluttered and has less stuff overall than the other two, but still. You know, one of my brothers and I are very similar, and we have a lot of stuff and a lot of clutter, and it's just the way we live. Not that we don't clean, we just have a lot of clutter. My mom did say my house had a little bit of a cat smell when you first walked in, but I do need to change the air filter, so I'm hoping that that's why it had that smell, because the air filters are old. And anyway, let's go ahead and talk about Memorial Day, because that's what the video is about, right, Floof? No? Okay. Well, I'm sorry, you're not doing the video, so you can do whatever you want on your own video. You can sing if you want, yes. You can definitely sing if that's what you want to do. All right. Memorial Day, originally known as Decoration Day. It's interesting. Probably not going to get too much done in this section. Is a federal holiday in the United States for mourning the U.S. military personnel who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. It is observed on the last Monday of May. Usually, depending upon your job, you might actually get that day off. If you work in retail, not so much. But other jobs, maybe. It is the unofficial beginning of summer in the United States. Memorial Day is a time for visiting cemeteries and memorials to mourn the military personnel who died in the line of duty. Volunteers will place American flags on the graves of those military personnel in national cemeteries. The first national observance of Memorial Day occurred on May 30th, 1868, then known as Decoration Day. And observed on May 30th, the holiday was proclaimed by Commander-in-Chief John A. Logan of the Grand Army of the Republic to honor the Union soldiers who had died in the American Civil War. This national observance followed many local observances, thanks Floof, which were inaugurated between the end of the Civil War and Logan's declaration. Many cities and people have claimed to be the first to observe it. However, the National Cemetery Administration, a division of the Department of Veterans Affairs, credits Mary Ann Williams of the Ladies Memorial Association of Columbus, Georgia, with originating the idea of an annual date to decorate the graves of Civil War veterans with flowers. Alright, so then the holiday spread amongst the states, with New York in 1873 being the first after Georgia. And then by 1890, every Union state had adopted it. The World Wars turned it into a day of remembrance for all members of the U.S. military who fought and died in service. In 1968, Congress changed its observance to the last Monday in May, and in 1971 standardized its name as Memorial Day. 2 other days celebrate those in the armed forces. We looked at those: Armed Forces Day and Veterans Day. that's pretty cool. So that's why we celebrate Memorial Day. And why we always have those decorations for the graves, because she brought them flowers to decorate the graves of those who had fought in the war, which that's pretty cool that they, you know, had that idea for these people. Although we went to, my husband and I, he had his vacation, I think it was in June. Was it in June? May or June? Oh, I can't remember. And we had a park pass for all of the state parks in the state of South Carolina. And so we went to some of these parks, and some of these parks are... Did he just cry all the way from the other room? I thought I just heard him cry some more. He's been crying. I know you probably heard him. He wants to go back out. I'll let him back out when I finish the video. Unless he goes and finds a place to take a nap. And then I won't worry about it. But because he might just go lay down somewhere and take a nap and then want back out again later. But anyway, my husband and I went to some of these parks, and one of the parks we went to was the site of one of the battles for the Civil War. And the guy there was telling us, he was teaching us about the battle. It was really cool that he, you know, had all of this knowledge, and he was teaching us about it and stuff, and he was going through how it was enacted, and then he said that at this particular battle there were so many dead that, and they had to move on so quickly that they just left the dead lying on the ground. They didn't bury them, they didn't do anything, they just left them there. So what about those people? Like, do we go to these sites and just bring flowers to honor those people? Granted, yes, some of them are British, some of them were, but some of them were the, you know, Americans. They had a name, I can't remember their name right now for their, like, we had a name for our army, just like they had a name for their army. But yeah, like, I wonder if people bring flowers to those sites just to honor those people who are laying there on the ground. Yes, some of them are, you know, British, but some of them weren't. And some of them were just sympathizers, because there's sympathizers for everything. I don't know on that one. Because there wasn't anything when we were there to honor those fallen people. Alright, so I'm just going to do a quick little search and see if there's any other day. I didn't actually, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Go away. So Memorial Day, Veterans Day, oh, Patriot Day, which remembers the victims of the September 11th attacks. Well, we talked about September 11th. Holocaust Memorial Day, which commemorates victims of the Holocaust. Celebrated on January 27th to remember the lives lost during the Holocaust and to prevent future atrocities. Not really any more for the U.S. we have a Remembrance Day. When is Remembrance Day? Oh, okay. Remembrance Day is Veterans Day, but it's also known as Poppy Day. Does it say member states since the end? Commonwealth member states. So you wear a poppy on Veterans Day in remembrance. That's cool. I know some people are doing poppies for their picture, which is nice. There's been some really great pictures. You guys are doing a great job if you watch this video. I know this video is a day late. I was still with my mother yesterday, and then I was just too exhausted when I got home after dropping her with her sister, to really be able to. He's back. In case you didn't hear that, he's back. To be able to really fully function as a human being. I don't know how I'm gonna do it working, but I've had to kind of like tell her, hey, look, my mental health does not allow me to keep going the way that you keep going. So at some point, I'm gonna crash. Like, it's gonna happen. And I got kind of cranky with her on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. I got kind of cranky with her because she was just all about just go, 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 go. I found myself getting cranky, and I pulled myself back, and I said, no, you know what? She's going to visit her sister. Then I can just relax for a couple of days, and it'll be fine. But then I'm going to be spending an entire week with her, and she's not really going to be doing anything. So this is going to be interesting, to say the least, of how this week is going to go. We're going to visit her other sister in Florida, so it's going to be very interesting. And we're going to hopefully get to spend some time with my friend who lives in Florida still. So it'll be interesting. And then she says she wants to drive by my house. Honestly, like, I've hired a property manager. So, like, I feel like if anything was going wrong with the house, the property manager should honestly be telling us if there was anything wrong, and they don't. So I don't feel like there's anything wrong with our house, but my mom wants to drive by our house for some reason in Florida, and we are going to be there. So it's not like we're not going to be in the vicinity, because we are. My friend lives near there, and my aunt lives near there. So we are going to be in the vicinity. So we're just going to do a drive-by, see if the neighbor's around, talk to him, that kind of thing. But anyway, I don't really have much else for this video. Like I said, if you're from another country, feel free to talk about your Remembrance and Memorial Days and why you celebrate them. I'm sure some of you have one that is for World War I, similar to our Veterans Day, that was dedicated to it, to the veterans of World War I. And now it's just dedicated to veterans of any war. So did your country do the same thing? Did you have a dedicated day for veterans of World War I, and then as time went on, changed it to be a day to celebrate veterans from any war? And I think that's, really about it. I hope you have enjoyed. And if you're in the US and you want to talk about your experiences or understanding of the days, feel free as well to do that. My brother was in the Marines, so he is a veteran of the Marines, but he never served in any wars. I want to say he went overseas once in one of the ships. But I'm not fully remember on that. He kind of decided early on that it was not the life for him, and he did his time and then he came out. So his time was, I think he did 4 years, 4 or 6 years. I don't know what the number is that you have to serve, but the number of years that you have to serve, he did. And then he came out and he got a job working on helicopters for news companies. Like, he fixes, repairs, and rebuilds helicopters for news companies. So that's pretty cool. And he got his helicopter driver's license. So he can fly a helicopter. And as far as I know, he's also able to fly planes. But I think it might have been separate. Like, he did the helicopter one first and then he did a plane one, but I think he just does the helicopters. He just flies helicopters. And has he taken me up in a helicopter yet? No. My own brother flies helicopters, and I have never flown in a helicopter. Nice, right? And you know what? He lives an hour from me. That's even better. We moved closer to him. I still have not had the opportunity. I think we were supposed to. But then something happened and we weren't able to. So I think there was a day that they were going to take us up in a helicopter, but something happened and we weren't able to do it. So maybe someday it'll happen and I'll get to go in a helicopter with my brother. But anyway, yes, I hope you've enjoyed, and thank you for watching again.